Hi there, my name is Christina Halstead, and this is a tutorial for Toon Boom Harmony Premium. What I'm going to talk about right now is how to use the cutter effect. And you can see I have my system up here. I have my assets in a group for the dog, and I have a peg above that for the scene. And what I'm going to do is go into my node library, and I'm going to use the search bar to type in cutter, and that's what comes up. Now the cutter is technically a mask. If you've used other art programs, a mask basically blocks part of an image. And this is you'll see that some nodes actually have two inputs on the top, and usually the one input on the bottom. This one has two on top. The one on the right is for the image, and the one on the left is for the mat. Usually you can tell a main input by the little dot on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add that to our system. There are two ways to do that. One way is to attach the image to the top in the image node input, and the other one to your composite. Of course, you still have this one blank, and I'll explain that in a moment. So that's one way to add a node to your system. There's another way to do that, and I think it's a little bit easier sometimes, and that is to hold down your mouse button and to hold Alt, and you'll see a little icon show up that says it's an attaching. And what we're going to do is move it over, and you'll see that it kind of snaps into place, and if you let go of your mouse, it stays put. So now that our cutter is part of our system, we can see that there's actually no change to the character, and that's because there is no layer to act as the mat or the blocking image. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go to our timeline, and we're going to, let's go ahead and select the master. We're going to go ahead and add a drawing, which you can do by clicking this icon right here, or going to the add layer drop down and click on drawing. I'm just going to call this mat. I'm going to add and close. So actually I just realized I put the mat inside the master. Let's go ahead and move that out of there. There we go. So now our mat is with the rest of our nodes in our system, and I'm actually going to leave it attached to the composite, because if I unattach the composite and draw on it, I won't be able to see it. At least not with this display mode on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reattach it. I'm going to have it over the dog master, because if I had it under the dog master, it would block my view of what I was doing with this layer. So I'm going to go in the color here, and I'm going to pick, let's go white, and I'm going to choose my ellipse shape tool, and I'm going to go ahead into the settings for that tool and select this icon right here, which is the autofill. That means basically it'll draw the line and automatically fill it with whatever color is set for the fill. And I'm going to just go ahead and drag it, and now I have a great big circle. It's covering up my character. So now I'm going to unattach that from the composite, and I'm going to reattach it to the cutter. And now, as you can see, you can barely see the character because the circle is so large. Let me go ahead and shrink that circle down a bit. There we go. Now we can see that we have our little circle shape, and it is clearly punching a hole right through this character. And I can move it around, of course. Like most things in Toon Boom, it can be animated. So if I wanted to animate this circle over time, it would do that. What I'm going to do is actually show you something that the cutter does. The cutter doesn't actually have too many properties. In fact, it only has one, and that is to be normal or inverted. If I invert it, basically that means it affects the drawing in the opposite way. Anything within that mat is now being shown. So if I were to move that mat around, we'd see that the rest of the character is still there, but the mat is only allowing whatever is in the circle to be seen by the camera. go ahead and I'll show you real quick how to what it would look like if I were to animate something. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a keyframe right here. And what I'll do is I'll say, let's get bigger, and moves down to show the whole character. So now if I were to animate that, oops, I actually didn't put an interpolation on there. Now the black line means it's going to tween. There we go. So now you can see it reveals the character. And that's how you use the mask, or in this case, the cutter tool.